Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. It's Marty the JavaScript party. Rhett is out in the living room. I've got such a late start today. Today it is 8:45. It is Friday, January 16th of 2026, and it is cold outside. 21 degrees Fahrenheit, which 32 is freezing, so that's 0 in Celsius. I think it's like 2.5 degrees per degree, so that's like -4, -5 degrees Celsius right now. It's so cold outside. We don't really build our houses for that sort of temperature, and it's been cold for a couple days. So like every instinct, like literally every internal instinct I had this morning was stay in bed, don't get up. So anyway, so that's where we're at. And what we have discovered is that if you have something like this, okay, so normally I work on my ThreeJS application, and it's like supposed to be an Angular 3JS animation, 3D animation application that I'm trying to build out. And I've tried this a few times and it's always failed. I mean, I've probably tried this in JavaScript, not even with Angular. I mean, I would say over the last 20 years, I've probably tried it 6 times, 8 times, and it always ended in absolute failure. And so this time I'm trying again. I tried last year in 2024. I built some really cool animations. I had a pretty good little application working, but it had a couple of fatal flaws. And the biggest fatal flaw in my mind was the fact that you could not um, export um, and import. So what it basically meant is once you started the application and you started to build out your different animations, the next time you started, you were the minute you turn off the browser, that animation was over. You have to. So I would record them on the screen and all that, but there was just um, there was just nothing I could do to refactor. So in order to deal with that, um, I started building out like my all my structures in such a way that they no longer had references to objects. So like a ThreeJS application or a ThreeJS visualization has a renderer, and within the renderer it has a camera. And it also has a scene, and within the scene it has meshes and materials and all kinds of stuff, right? And the thing is so in my original implementation, one thing that was kind of a feature of that is that I would keep references to the actual objects so that I could perform apply changes to those objects. And that was problematic because you can't really export actual instances of things. So I went in the direction of IDs, and that has led me to a bug that I have literally seen and never understood, but I had seen, like, I think has literally killed dozens of, in my personal experience, at least probably 3 or 4 multi-million, multi-10 million, highly needed applications at enterprises. So basically what happens is everyone's working, everything seems to be going great. You're building, things are building, everything's fantastic. And then one day the application just starts becoming extremely unstable. And anytime you try to add any new stuff, it's just totally unstable. And this has been the problem because this problem is that I have a service and it injects. I have service one and it injects service two, and then I have service two and it injects service one, and then I have an app that injects either service one or service two, and I get this cyclic um, error. So if I back this up and hit save, and the thing that makes this error like a killer, an absolute killer, is that see, we have this circular dependency detected, right? And then if I go, is that the transpiler doesn't catch it. So like we didn't see anything break in here. It's only a runtime error. And what the reason that's such a killer is because see how everything's fine now. We don't have the error because I moved this back out, and we have proven without a doubt it's because this only happens um, if two singleton for root provided in root pieces inject each other. And this kills a lot of enterprise applications because enterprise applications sort of depend on um, these sorts of errors getting caught during the build process so that if um, so that like when what am I trying to say? They depend on that so that like nobody can check in code that breaks the current application. But this you could easily work in your section, get everything working perfectly. Because let's say in your version of the code, like let's say you're working separately, in your version you don't inject service 2 into service 1. But somebody else on another team could be injecting service 2 and everything works perfect for them. And so in most conditions that would be like a race, right? Whoever checks in first, the other person has to figure out a workaround because it would break. But since this doesn't break in the transpiling process, it breaks. It won't. It breaks in runtime, and no one is expecting it to break. And then you pull down dev and it's broken, or it goes out to production and it's broken at production. So I don't know why the Angular team doesn't set it up to where like it looks and sees that this service came from here and then it got injected and then over here in this service that like that these two and then just not and then just refuse to transpile because that would solve a lot of problems. It would probably prevent a lot of enterprise collapses. Um, but anyways, I don't so that's the a thing and whatever. But next is like theoretically, should two singletons be able to inject each other? And that the answer to that is absolutely yes. And I'm kind of going through an application here where I have my car application and I mean my house service and it knows how to open and close a garage door. And then I have a car application that knows how to has an electronic system. It knows how to start and stop the car. And what I would like to do is be able to start the car from inside the house, and I would like to be able to open the garage door from inside the car. I think that there's nothing like from an engineering perspective or architectural perspective that's wrong with that. I mean, I'm sure there's people that can make very, very compelling arguments, but theoretically, and I don't think this is something that's a problem in other other programming environments. I think this is a Angular specific thing. And I was trying to think this morning because I do love to watch. Love is probably over, but I enjoy watching the Angular live streams, and they say that there's some every once in a while they'll refer to like some sort of architectural limitation on their side within their applications that prevents them from doing certain behaviors, doing certain things. Like I think the guy kind of implied, and I don't know if this is a really good, exact, precise meaning, but I think he was saying that like if he changes anything in like makes something smaller in Angular material, and then the size is dependent on one of their thousands of applications that they maintain, it breaks them all. Like they have a repo that is got all the applications and stuff in it. So I think they have something that kind of prevents this just by its nature from happening, but this is a common thing in the regular enterprise. So the next step, I think, is I'm guessing so right now if you were to imagine it, I have two singleton services that inject each other. I'm thinking maybe I can have two singular services, two singleton services, and then underneath it I could have static classes. And I think the static classes can inject each other. I don't even know. I don't think inject even makes sense. So we can have two static classes and they can have access to each other. Um, Static isn't the right word. I can have two just regular old classes. And now it's very late. Like I have to start work here in a second, so I can't do much more. But let's see this. So I want to create a class, and I'm just thinking that I can do this. NGC house, and then maybe that'll create a new class. I don't know. The nice thing about like this, what I'm doing right now is if I if I if I run this and it doesn't work, I'll remember. And if it works, I'll remember. Like this is a pretty good way to get. For some reason, my brain will remember it. So I'm gonna say npm run ngc house. Ng chouse. And I'm hoping to get a. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. I wonder if it'll be house.class. It kind of surprises me that this isn't named house.service.ts. So where is my? Oh, so it did. So it, for a house, so that actually created a whole component. Oh, C for component. Delete. That makes sense. All right. Oh, let's try this. Do they have? Did they provide us help? Okay. Okay. So I think I can write this npm. Oops, wrong one. Npm run ng space help. And so it ran ng help. That doesn't make really, if I'm being completely honest, it doesn't make sense to me that it knew how to turn this into this call, but it did. All right. So is there a one to add? Okay, so it doesn't really give. Okay. Can I do this? ng um, g help? Will it tell me what I can generate? Let's see. Interceptor class. So apparently I need to actually write out the word class. I guess. I don't know. But I guess in general you can always do that. DC house. Okay, so it doesn't add that. So I wonder if it like would it try to create something the same name as the service. So let's try this. See. Okay, so now we have our class. Let's just do the same thing for car. So I'm hoping that maybe I can only use the um, ngc. Oh, okay, class car. I'm hoping that maybe I can um, um, maybe I can have this get a reference to this. Or, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like kind of. So, can class get a reference to the singleton? It seems like it could, but only from the app, right? So, See, I suspect we're going to run into the same problem because I think the minute it tries to add the car and the house into the injector, it's going to fail. That's what I think. And I don't really even understand exactly what all those words made. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Hopefully we can figure this out. This one's a real doozy. Bye.